Now, the rest of the story.
Whoa. Well, I'm gonna walk out and check the cows quick. You know, not a huge person to want to do auctions very often, but every once in a while you find a gem. And a new bale ring is like $400 to $500 depending on what options you're looking for. And the hay auction where I sell my hay had this show up one week, and you know, for half price of a new one, it's rusted out, you know, it's got some holes in the bottom, but I can do one of two things: either use it as is, or go through and treat it the same I do with brand new ones that I buy. And I'm gonna take the grinder, shine this up, put a bead of weld down through the front of that, on each of the seams, on all three of them, and the sheet metal around the outside is kind of a no big deal to me, even if it does have some holes or it's a little rusted on the bottom, because personally I think beef cows aren't as hard on some of this stuff as dairy cattle are. That's not me being mean to dairy cattle or my opinion of dairy cattle. Just an observation I've seen. It always seemed like the dairy cows, I don't know if it's just, you know, they're taller, lankier, there's all around, you know, it seemed like they're heavier build, or just harder on stuff. And it just didn't seem like the bale feeders, and we did have been with the cows, that they would ever really last. Granted, at the same time, we weren't welding them together like I do. And okay, 20-30 minutes of prep and welding on a bale feeder gets you a couple more years of use out of them. I think it's worth it. So we brought that home the other day, and I just haven't taken the time to weld it up yet, because my intentions are to get yet another bale out here for my cows. I know the wind is pretty nasty, so I want to make sure these guys are okay. I know they got water. We fed them yesterday, but it's always good to at least get an eye on them. We actually lost a bunch of snow from that warm spell we had since I brought the cows home, because that drift right there was actually level with that top guardrail. And we were worried about them jumping out, but it was far enough away from the guardrail. I think we were fine. It's like borderline freezing right now. That's why you're getting all the water running. But Rocky, had a calf out of him. He's not a bad bull. I mean, he's quiet and everything, but I'm leaning pretty heavily towards at least going and buying one more bull. So I saw she had gotten bred here in the last 2 weeks. Whether or not it takes, we'll have to see. We gotta go through and get everybody preg checked. I talked to my vet about it, and the issues I have with getting them checked is when I have them bred for the spring and for the fall. When's the best time to really get them checked? And I think we've decided the best time is going to be about June, because that'll be after when my spring calves should be done. So I can either check to see if I got anybody that's really late, and then it'll also let me know whether or not what I'll have bred for this fall, or as for fall calves, because I did have like half the cows that are here were open, because the ones I got from my dad, like she's one of them, between the ones I got from my parents and that I bartered off with those black ones of mine, and anything that was open this past spring, it's more or less just trying to do the same thing over and over again and stay consistent. Now this is a tried and true example of a junk bale from the valley. It heated, so you got this hard core here. So what we ended up doing, it was in the bale feeder. We took it out. There was actually a lot more to it, and the cows are knocking it around like all this. They'll chew up yet, and the plan is eventually we'll get it out here with the skid steer and we'll break it up that much more. They'll use it for bedding, and then ultimately it becomes fertilizer, and it goes right back out to the field, and we spread it out to the cows. Say this, that's another one out of the last group I bought. That one, that Charolais here somewhere. Say they actually are low on hay, but they're actually sitting all right. Still absolutely loving these out of that first group that I bought. And I'm not really sure where I'm gonna be at with the whole cow situation. Keep pushing the numbers, I guess. The rate it's going. See, this is one of the original 2. And that is exactly why she's still here, is because she was as quiet as she was. That's her. And oh, this one, that's Grandpa's heifer. These 2, they're the only 2 that I'm adamant on. They have a free ride, that I won't send them to be called out. They get to the point where they are no longer producing calves, I'll take them down to my place, and more pasture and all that stuff to kind of exist. And they're gonna die of old age. I won't put them down. But everybody else out here is doing really good. This is what I like to see. I didn't realize they had this bale gone, but because they're calling for a really nasty cold, might actually be worth getting this bale ring out here and getting another bale in this bale ring, I mean, just to make sure they're keeping feeding them. But I'm sitting at about 40, I want to say 41 or 44 cows and heifers. That doesn't include any of my steer calves I got. I mean, this is a calf that I have from last year. We're 15. Anything that's got the blue tags in them, I mean, that's a steer calf. That was the last calf I had, I think back in November. But even all these black ones I am keeping. I'm really just pushing the numbers, and I got plenty of feed, I got plenty of hay, and I'm looking at maybe pivoting a little bit more towards keeping the cattle in the lots like this, and just what they call it, confinement beef to a certain degree. I know it's pretty popular over in Europe, but yeah, I'm not sitting quite so great without a big beef setup or a big confinement building. But at least having the lots around here, I can manage them, keep an eye on the calves or when they're due to calve, and then just feed cattle year round and not necessarily sell as much hay as I am. I mean, maybe drop down to only sell about half of what I'm producing, just for the simple fact you're not so reliant on somebody looking to buy hay. I can take a cow to the sales barn, somebody's going to buy it, and as long as you're raising quality cattle, I mean, there's generally going to be a buyer. More management that goes into it. When selling hay, which I don't really, as of right now, I don't think I'll be getting away from selling hay, but at least when it comes to the hay, quantity and the amount available plays a lot into prices. So even though, like, I have that nice deep green healthy looking hay, I mean, it's almost guaranteed to sell when it is up there. But the problem I run into is then price. It's on the higher end of the sale price for the week, but it's, at least it's moving, but it's not demanding the higher prices because there's an abundance of average quality hay, and ultimately that's what it boils down to. You guys have heard me say it. I'm a low cost input producer for my cattle, and I can sell like a quarter to a third of the hay I'm producing every year and get back my expenses for my inputs, and I'd be neck deep in cattle feed. And cattle will eat grass just fine, as you can see. and I'm content with having a pile of cattle around, I guess. At least that's my intentions. I'm really looking forward to getting out of this cold into spring, past the mud part of, you know, muddy, nasty spring, and be able to come out and check my cows when it's nice out, you know, with all their slick coats and everything. Because I know it doesn't really come across very clear, but I am so friggin' happy that I got a bunch of red cattle around here. I mean, I got, well, this first one here, that's one of my dad's. I got 4 of my dad's that are in here, these black heifers that I bought for him. But other than that, picking and choosing genetics and getting more bulls, even for a fewer number of cattle, more bulls than what I would generally need to get a tighter birthing calving date together. So if the bulls are in here for 60 days, but if I have 4 bulls in with 40 head of cows, that's technically 10 cows per bull. Granted, I know that's not exactly how that always works out, but at least it should be able to get them all, you know, set to calve in a relatively tight window, which would be great, because then I'll have a tighter group of calves to sell, and you don't have so much of that size variance in them. But once again, probably June, I do run these guys through the chute. You guys will be involved. I'll have the camera set up or whatever I'm doing, but I gotta get some tags coming, because blue is a color, like how she's got the blue tag. That is a color that I have to special order. It's not something I can just go and buy at the local store. But everybody will have blue tags in here. I'll be keeping the yellow tags and these few that have the red Angus, the yellow red Angus tags in them. But otherwise, blue tags in all the left ears. And ideally, even if I have any heifers out of, any black heifers out of any of the current black cows, heifers that are in here, they will be marked to sell. I don't plan, oop, hey babe, hey, see, not super friendly, but not crazy wild either. They're desperate to get away from you. That's what I like to see, and as of right now, I'd say these guys are doing just fine. But I'm definitely one of those weirdos. I'm a cattle guy. I'm a crop guy, yes, but I'm a cattle guy. I like sitting and looking at my cows. It's just not as easy to do it when it's 5 degrees out and I can't feel my fingers since I started this video. But you guys will still be involved, and I'll still include you in all the videos going forward here. I mean, I'm between the tractor and the cattle and the increase in cattle and making hay and growing crops. Got a lot to look forward to this year. So for those of you who are still watching, anybody interested in a golden retriever puppy, the reason I say that is because the puppy has half a tail, got frostbite, and I might be looking at selling it at a steep discount, like $200-300, or just giving them away for free, just because I want them to go to a good home. And people are kind of picky, where I don't want them to just go to somebody that will keep him while he's a puppy and young and cute, but you know, as he turns into an adult, they get rid of him because he's only got half a tail. Contact me. My email's in the description if you're interested in it. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I officially can't feel my face. Bye.